1955 to 1959 Chevy pickup truck or GMC cab. I'm going to go through the common rust areas where these trucks like to rust out. So I'm going to go through the cab first, then we'll make our way through the parts. So as we can see, the common areas they like to rust out in is over the windshield part occasionally, throughout to the point. The lower grille part usually seems pretty good usually. When you come down, the lower A-post on this one has gone point, and the air induct occasionally. The kickboard likes to rust out. And next, I'll give you another look. So, the lower portion of the floor here, right where the mount is where they like to rust out. Usually across they don't have issues. And then working our way around to the other side, we have another mount point where they like to rust out. You can see the lower A-post on that side. And then we work our way up. The upper portion of the likes to rust out. The rears are good usually, and usually don't have too many issues. So I got a little hole here in this truck, right there, but overall they're pretty good and don't have many issues usually in the back half. In that section. This one's got a nice little dent in the roof here where it looks like somebody dropped something massively on. So coming around back to the driver's side, the lower step is probably the most commonly spot out that likes to rust out in this step. It's just the way that the design, the water always sat in them, and they like to rust out right there. And then moving into the back half, this little piece here just points across, and then moving across. Cab corners on these trucks, I don't think there's one that's not needed. Every truck needs these cab corners, and they're just a simple process. Usually you don't take the full piece. I like to take them about here and zip them across, and away you go. It's the most common spot. They like to rust out there, and away you go. A few little nice dents on this one. Anymore, the patina is pretty good. There is an inner and an outer cab corner. Most of the guys just run with just put the outer on and then don't actually put the inner in. So this is going into the back half, into the cab corner. This one's actually been full of foam. So what most of the guys do is put a little piece in here and block that out, then you don't end up with the sound and noise coming through, and kind of skips the stage. So moving to the top half usually isn't too much. The roof on this, the glass is from a 67 Dodge Dart. It's my spare windshield. So move the other passenger side. Cab corners again, typically rust out. Nice little spot, easy to do, simple enough, and they've been dent up. Same with the steps. They've usually been hit or punched a little ways, punched up. This one's actually not too bad for rusting out actually, but it is going to go or need some work, that's for sure. The A-post on this one on the lower is pretty good. A little bit rougher on the inside side there. Need the hinges back, as you can see. And overall pretty good. Next up we got fenders. Fenders usually pretty good for the most part, except for you come down here and they like to rust out always in that point. and that lower point right here, right along there. And there's a brace that comes out. This brace right here likes to rust out. So that's another thing to keep in mind of. But anywhere they're usually pretty solid. The other part is it likes to rust out in these 58 and 59s is this piece right here for the actual headlight section. From what a lot of guys have been issues with. I have 2 of these sets, but mine are pretty good. And in the a little bit right here in the 57s, the 56s, they like to rust out in these eyelid parts too. A little bit of work to fix them up, but usually not too bad. And then the other spot that surprises me likes to go is right here. It's 2 pieces of metal kind of that clump together, and they like to rust out right there as well. But overall, these fenders are pretty good to work with. Good work. So this is the 55 to 56. 57 has a whole different set of front fenders. So they're kind of real special, which makes that front end and that special year make everything different. So this is in the eyelid corners, like I like to call it. That's where they like to rust out. And then got a little hole here. And as you work your way back down, we've got your typical rust in the lower fender as well. And then move across, and of course, so we've got our typical rust in the section where the meets the truck as usual. So just something to keep in mind of. This is a set for our fleet side. I cut them down to make it fit, so you're going to cut them twice down. It was a long box, and I made it into a short box. So the tailgate's got a little bit of a bent in it, but overall pretty good. Overall, these are pretty solid pieces. Maybe the odd little dent, but these don't seem to rust out. More of an issue of seeing a hard life. But for a 7-year-old vehicle, hey, they're gonna have some hard life throughout times, but overall pretty good. Doors in the other fact right here we move to next typically don't rust out that bad. They've more got the issue than anything else is in the front. The front portion where they like to meet the door is usually bent out. This one's not too bad, both of these doors. And then the lower portion of the door, the very bottom on these trucks, likes to rust out. So way down here, the actual trim piece for this one would be normally, unless this one's sitting on wood like it was. I'm actually getting ready to sell this cab, so that's about it. But usually the doors are pretty solid. Occasionally need some new arms or some new wiper openers, but for the windows, not for the wipers, for the doors, because these get filed down. But overall, pretty good setup. In regards to the step sides, they're usually pretty good. The only issue you usually run into is where they mount it up. You can almost see the outline for where the step side fender would sit in. Occasionally some little rust spots on the end portion that usually need clean up. They like to pull off. This one, as you can see, is pulled off to the point. You just need to pull it back and put some good weld on them. And they occasionally like to weld to rust right along here where they would meet the wood panel for the floor. So usually pretty good. Usually not an issue. More of these trucks, it's a little bit of cab work than anything else. So, and then we moved to a 58, 59 Chev grill. Pretty solid, not too many problems. And away we go.